Theater itself, not just Black theater, is not a dying art. We are not becoming a dinosaur. We may have to look at it through another lens, and how are we doing storytelling? Camden Rep, what I want them to know, it's a good time. It is, everybody likes a good time. Everybody likes a good friend. Everybody wants to go to their friend's house, talk about some things, stay a little longer if you're that kind of friend, or pack your stuff up and go home if you're that kind of friend. And that's what Camden Rep is. She's a good friend. She's your sister girl. She's a and talk at the kitchen table and let's eat some chicken. And if the money is good, we're gonna drink good wine. If the money ain't good, we're gonna drink cheap wine. But that's what she is. And some days she's that. Some days she's a Proverbs 31 woman. Well, she's always a Proverbs 31 woman because she's there to serve, right? She's always there to serve her community. She's always there to make it better. She's always there to even serve the servant.
What I wouldn't do is describe Camden Rep as a theater. I mean, it is, of course, a theater, but I think it is more a movement, and I'd say both politically and culturally. And I think that there are many ways in which we're not gonna really understand the impact and reach of Camden Rep and what it has intended and is intending to do for decades.
I like to say it's like a best kept hood secret. It's like one of those deals that where Desi has decided to be this person who goes away, gets all this information, and brings it back to this little private space where she shares with folk who don't quite know what they're doing from day to day. And she figures out how to get them the information that is given to the masses. So abroad, not just locally, but it's something that she does. She shares this information that comes from a broader perspective with the little folks in our community. So Camden Rep is like this little secret hub, a spot where people come and hang and learn the real deal of the world.
I really wanted to focus on women, women's issues, and Black women. And I wanted our city to have high quality, great theater. And I went to my artistic director at the time, Ozzy, and my executive director, and I'm saying, I think I want to start a theater company. And under their umbrella, because we had the space, and they had a cute little theater, and I did. It's a quick change. It's like, it is.
Hat, chain, that.
This, done. I'm looking for the lines. It's
clip on the side.
Yeah, it's, I'm not your baby mom. I never will be. Boom, it's 3 lines.
Yep.
And it's over there. Not your baby mom, hat, never will be, chain.
And then you'd get that, you'd bring it over to where you're gonna change into it and then do it.
This, just, but not the hat.
Now, the hat and the chain you do right there.
Okay.
then this you would do, you bring it with you over to there and then do it.
Okay, all right. We didn't have that chain upstairs, did we?
No.
This season, I was determined to make sure the production, the play, the third part of the trilogy, Child Support, was put up. I had to stop running from it as an artist. This ambitious play, an idea that you have, you are going to find out, are you the real deal or are you playing games with it? And sometimes that's scary as an artist because I broke my normal form in which I write. I pressed the envelope and I met a new me as a writer. And I wasn't quite interested in getting back on stage, but Ozzy insisted that at least for the first run, you get on stage and you do this as part of the third part to the Camden trilogy.
I was kind of a fish out of water with this one. I think I had to pinpoint the parts where I couldn't quite identify and then really do a lot of research because it's definitely a story that is delicate, that I don't want to mess up, that I want to be very truthful with. Because it's such a hard topic of self-harm, there's not a lot you can look up very simply and then it just pops up. You want to research and find the ins and the outs of how to do this and how to do this truthfully, but even in doing normal research, like through Google, they'll take you to maybe a suicide hotline or something like that. It's really hard to find how. And then you can't just talk to people about it because you don't want to trigger them, and that's just a sensitive topic, a lot to unpack. So it was hard, to say the least. It was hard.
You let yourself go. You look hard. Where's that young woman only you seem to remember? You're not even a contender. You're just a throwback track you might catch on the radio once every 9 months.
That's excellent. I, as an artist, feel like theater is supposed to be where people live, right? So, and I, grew up in the Baptist church, so my real connection to what the idea of theater was church. What we're doing, I actually think, both intellectually but also aesthetically, have tried to take the position that that is how theater is actually, in its purest form, supposed to be done.
Like artists, we had always been doing art there, like readings there. If you needed a rehearsal space, clear it out and do the rehearsal space. And I moved in with my mother to take care of her because she was diagnosed with cancer. And at that point, you have to occupy it, and it just became a full-fledged art center. About 2020, it was like, that's it, nobody's living there. We're doing full, let's get the lights up. Let's start making it exactly what it is. At least that's what we're calling it anyway, the theater.
The band in the kitchen, the audience in the dining room, and the stage is the living room, right? We figure it out. But what we say is, too often, people make excuses about how not to produce art rather than figure out how to produce good art, at least to you, right? Because good is relative, but we feel like when we finish, we're like, our goal is that when we finish, do we feel good about this? And if we can exhale, then we're good with what everyone else thinks, right? But I'll be frank with you. It's not easy doing the work there. Like, we deserve it. Our young people deserve the big theater with Rossini. Like we deserve it with lighting and wing space and fly systems. But that's one perspective. The other perspective is it's small, it's quaint. This is our little speakeasy, a little spot where you come in. Not everybody gets to go, right? It's a little exclusive. So spaces like that, if you look at it with the classes half full, right, then you can maximize your opportunity just really settling down and saying, it's okay. This is good, in fact. It's not just okay, this is great.
Stop. I need you to hit everything you're gonna hit on the first beat. No missing the ones. Ready? 1, 2, ready, and. Just underscore, right? Underscore with bass and drums, and. We're ending here, and. Right? 1, 2, ready, and. She says that line. I look at it as a professional arts education, art development, youth development program. We develop the youth so that they perform at a high level, but they're still getting the education necessary to execute in the real world as well. We treat it like the real world. We don't put a cap or a limit on what they can do.
The P.A.C.E program has been in operation for years. It's preparing artists for college entrance. And the goal is that we get these young artists ready for not just college, but ready for the professional realm of whatever art form they're studying, so that they could be hired by the Beyoncés of the world and the Victoria Monets. Like, we've got students from our program that are performing with Victoria Monet on The Tonight Show. So they could go off to college or they could go off to the professional world of artistry. But P.A.C.E is just that. We take young folk from the city of Camden and the surrounding area, sort of greater Camden community, and just give them the best experience of arts that we can.
P.A.C.E was so key in my development as an actor, and just honing in on skills, making me do things that I didn't want to do. Just from my own personal experience, I know I didn't really like singing for a long time, and I remember Mr. Jamal Dickerson being like, you have to sing, actors sing, and they dance, like you have to be able to do it all. You have to want to do it all for your own craft. And the integrity of who you are as an artist, like you shouldn't want to be one thing.
One of the things that my teachers did for me in the P.A.C.E program is that they never said anything was too hard. They made us feel like everything was easy, right? It was, yeah, you can do it, just play, play this Donnelly, this is easy. And we looking around, I say, is this hard? We got a feeling it might be, but they make us feel like it's easy. And I think that concept too makes the kids feel like, oh, it's possible. I'm supposed to be able to do this, right? They also get professional performance opportunities, right? A lot of us, especially like me, I kind of risk it and take chances and even put some of those students on big platforms. And they can, they end up handling it. You put them in, like, it's the same concept, right? It's not too hard, you can do it.
So when we sit you alongside that kind of an artist, what happens is you, by osmosis, start to get the understanding of that. And at the very least, you can say, you know what, I don't think I'm that serious about this craft. So I'm going to utilize this craft to get me to school, get me to the next level, utilize it as a way to get some scholarship support and get into school. But when I go, I might choose to do go into another field. In P.A.C.E, what we plan to do is to prepare them best we can as artists. But we know on the way, even the folks who fall through the cracks with being artists, they're falling through the cracks into a slot where they're going, okay, learning how to be an artist taught me how to work diligently, how to put in the kind of work it takes, how to analyze and really synthesize and break things so I can be whatever I feel like being. So at the end of the day, P.A.C.E is really about helping young folk from the city of Camden figure out how to become what it is they would like to become.
Muff, you look so pretty.
Right there.
How about you go? When your dad
I'll
comes,
tell you when to add the snare.
I promise you, I'll have him meet you at the prom.
2, bass, 2, ready, and
I promise.
boom. Come on, bass. Boom. Come on, bass. Boom, boom. We going. Oh,
Yes.
man. Oh, man.
This whole arc of education that you have, that you bring specifically back to the hood. Glenn Allen from the DC Black Theater Festival, he always teases me. He always says, Desi, people with MFAs ain't down there with them playing in the hood. They ain't down there. No, they somewhere with a nice university professor job. So they take your education and get up out of that hood. And it's important. When I first came back in 2004, and we did I Killed My Baby's Daddy. That was my original DJ, and Ozzy was my original director. And he said, it's very important that all of the education that you got, you bring back to your community. And it doesn't even mean you have to stay here, but being able to have a generation, to affect a generation of artists and not realize, when I came back, I was like, everything on stage seemed like a variety show. I'm like, what in the world is going on here? And now that you see China, who graduated from NYU, you see Joseph Streeter, who's my MD, he was one of the kids. He was one of the P.A.C.E kids in 2008. And to see that he's gone on to Berkeley and he's come back, and I gotta get him in pockets. He was just coming off the road from Vermont and trying to hide it from me that, no, get to my stuff on time. And like I said, he came back from LA last week, and it's one of those, I can't say who I was working for yet until the project comes out. They are those kind of artists, and they still come back and pour in and understand the importance of what we're doing to nurture the next generation.
It is time for the Family Feud. Introducing the present family: mother, grandmother, aunts, cousins, baby's mom, and jump outside chick. And the defendant's family: father, grandfather, uncle, cousins, and baby's dad. Children in the crossfire is the innocent bystander. Children in the child support system: daughter and son. On your mark, let's start the Family Feud. Here's how this works. We surveyed 100 people. The top 6 answers are on the board. You have to find the most popular answer. Here's the question. Tell me, what are the qualities you look for in a man when considering a husband, the father of your children?
A man that looks at your mean, crazy, insecure, clingy, acting stuff because your father left you, because your mom put him on child support and told his family not to give you his phone number or his address, that in spite of your mean, crazy, insecure, clingy, acting stuff because your dad left you, because your mom put him on child support and told his family not to give his phone number, his address. I'm not gonna leave you, so just stop.
You do know we're on national television, right?
We're just trying to win. I just want to
Okay.
win.
How about God-fearing?
Okay, that's God-fearing. I don't know. Child support. Child support is dear to me because you watch the cycle of poverty happen in your community amongst Black women. And my question is, what can I do to stop it? What can I do so that the third generation doesn't become the fourth generation? And borrowing from Anna DeVere Smith, how she took a topic and she talked about it and it went on a national platform, I said, well, it worked for her, it worked for Sarah Jones. Let's see if it can work for Desi Shelton. One of the things that I feel about my work is in child support and how I even got into playwriting is who's telling our stories? Who's telling our stories from the hood, from this social economic level, and giving it the ear, the treatment, and the respect that it's due.
Getting her room decorated in that house that you just bought. No. Ain't no, you don't want to hear it. Yeah, you want to hear what? Because you live in a $418,000 house, and I live in a $50,000 house. We live in a $50,000 house, and you really don't see the problem with that. Nick, you really, you don't see the problem with that. $418,000, $50,000 house, and you don't see the problem with that. Said I wasn't going to let him stress me out. Damn.
Like we said, maybe storytelling is changing. So it's important for us to tell our stories in this way at this time right now, making sure that we are continuing the art form in a post-COVID generation. So
It's such a specific experience. Like there's theater and there's Camden Rep theater. It's like you gotta experience at least one Camden Rep production in your life. That's how special it is. And then if we could create that sort of Camden experience in our 445 Mechanic Street space and put that in Chicago and put that in Utah and put that in North Dakota, then I think that it's beneficial for everyone.
It's like I have so many moms, so many dads, so many grandfathers, uncles, brothers, sisters, and it's like, oh, I don't need for that anymore. I have an abundance for it in a community where they say kids don't have that. And I think that's one of the main things I appreciate about Camden Rep.
The whole neighborhood has to go, we feel you, and we hear you, and we down. And that for me is what's up. Like that for me is what making theater actually, even in the Shakespearean sense, is.
You have to work with what you have. And if you work with what you have, you could go anywhere. Complaining about what you don't have, you could sit in that same spot forever. But if you work with what you have, you can be propelled to go wherever you like.
When I get up in the morning and I pray and I ask God, give me the words, or am I doing what I'm supposed to be doing right now? Or am I sure we're supposed to be doing this? Am I off track? Am I on track? Am I being self-serving? Like asking those hard questions. Is this play about me wanting to show how great and grand and creative a writer I can be? Or am I still on mission of serving your people and just using this medium of theater to serve and speak to the people in a 2024 way so that we still have connection, we still have conversation, and that we still have compassion? Am I still doing that every day in what I do? When she comes down the stairs, we're probably gonna play Defying Gravity.